Pattaya at night looks simple on the surface, but once you step in, it's a completely different story. This city isn't just one nightlife scene. It's a mix of totally different zones, each with its own vibe, pace, and rules. And here's where most people get it wrong. They go to the first place they've heard about and end up having a completely different night than they expected. Same city, totally different experience. In this video, I'm breaking down the full Pattaya Nightlife map, so you understand exactly where to go, what each area is like, and how to avoid the most common beginner mistakes. Everything I mention is pinned on Google Maps, link in the description, so you can navigate it yourself without guessing. Watch this till the end, because I'll also show you how I'd plan a full night across different zones. Let's get into it. Before we jump into specific streets, you need to understand how Pattaya actually works at night. Because this city isn't one nightlife scene. It's a mix of completely different zones, each with its own pace, its own energy, and its own rules. And this is where most people get it wrong. They hear one name, go there first, and think that's Pattaya Nightlife. It's not. Same city, completely different experiences depending on where you go. The easiest way to understand Pattaya is to break it into a few types. You've got the high-energy crowded zones, loud, packed, everything happening at once. Then there are the fast-paced areas, short streets, quick decisions, very direct atmosphere. You've got the more relaxed, social zones, places where you can actually sit down, talk, and take your time. And then there are the mixed areas, a bit of everything, usually easier on the budget, and where a lot of people end up staying longer. And the key thing is, none of these are better or worse. It just depends on what kind of night you're looking for. Some people want energy, some want something more laid back, some want to move between both. Once you understand that, Pattaya stops being confusing and starts making sense. I'll break down each zone so you know exactly where you fit. Now let's start with the place everyone knows, Walking Street. This is the main stage of Pattaya Nightlife. The lights are brighter, the music is louder, and everything moves faster. But here's the part most people don't expect. Walking Street isn't one experience. It's a mix of completely different venues packed into one street. You'll find go-go bars with stage performances and high-energy atmosphere, nightclubs with DJs, packed dance floors, and late-night crowds, hostess-style bars where it's more social and relaxed, live music bars and smaller lounges with a different pace. Every few steps, the vibe changes. And that's why it can feel exciting or overwhelming, depending on what you're looking for. How to approach it? If it's your first time, this is where most people start. Big, intense, easy to access. But it's also where people overspend, get pulled into random places, or end up in venues that don't match what they expected. So the key here isn't just showing up, it's understanding what type of place you're walking into. Prices here are generally higher than other areas. It gets very crowded, especially late at night, and not every venue delivers the same experience. So don't treat Walking Street as the best place. Treat it as one part of the bigger nightlife map. I'll be doing full, detailed breakdowns of Walking Street, including specific venues, pricing, and what's actually worth it. And the same for every major Pattaya zone. So if you don't want to miss those, subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's move to a completely different type of nightlife, Soi 6. If Walking Street is spread out, Soi 6 is immediate. The moment you step in, everything happens at once. Music, voices, people calling you in, bars lined up one after another. There's no slow entry here. It's fast, direct, and very focused. Soi 6 is built almost entirely around open-front hostess-style bars. That means bars open directly onto the street. Staff interacting with people walking by. Very social, very high-energy environment. You won't find big clubs here. No long walks between venues. Everything is packed into one short street, which is why a quick visit can turn into hours without you noticing. This is probably the most fast-paced area in Pattaya. Bars open early, already active in the afternoon. High turnover of people. Very little wandering. Decisions happen quickly. It's less about exploring and more about reacting to what's right in front of you. What to expect here? Dozens of similar style bars. Loud music, bright setups, themed outfits. A very playful, attention-driven atmosphere. Some places feel almost identical. Others stand out with better energy or crowd. That's where experience makes a difference. Right next to it, you'll find Soi 6/1, which has a different scene. If it's your first time in Pattaya, just be aware that the vibe there is not the same, so pay attention to where you're walking. This is one of those areas where knowing how to navigate it properly makes a huge difference. If you want detailed breakdowns, real tips, and how to approach different spots, that's something I only share in more depth outside YouTube. Link is in the description. Now let's shift gears, because Soi Buakhao is a completely different side of Pattaya. If walking street is intense and Soi 6 is fast, Buakhao is where things slow down and where people actually stay longer. What makes Buakhao different? This is the expat and nomad zone. You'll find more long-term visitors, more relaxed pacing, and a nightlife scene that feels more social than intense. It's not built around one street. It's an entire area with smaller streets branching out in every direction. Buakhao is all about variety. You've got beer bars and hostess-style venues, live music spots and smaller lounges, cafes, street food, and restaurants open late. You can sit down, have a drink, talk, move on. No pressure, no rush. It's less about being pulled in and more about choosing where you want to go. Right in the middle, you've got Tree Town. Open layout, lots of bars, food everywhere, constant movement. It's a mix of social bars, music, street food. If you're not sure where to start in Buakhao, start here. Why Buakhao is growing? More and more people are shifting toward this area. Simple reasons. Generally cheaper than walking street, more relaxed and approachable vibe. Easier to spend a full evening without rushing. It's not trying to impress you, it just works. Now LK Metro is actually part of the whole Soi Buakhao system, but it feels like its own little world. If walking street feels polished, LK Metro feels more real. It's a tight loop, everything close together, no long walks, no confusion. You step in, and within a few minutes you already understand how the place works. I usually start somewhere easy, places like Trench Town Rasta. Grab a drink, settle in, see the crowd. And that's the thing here. Even if people don't know each other, it kind of feels like they do. Then as the night builds, you move around. You've got go-go bars like Las Vegas A Go-Go. Consistent, good energy, nothing overcomplicated. And then spots like LK Angels, which take things up a level. Louder, more intense, different kind of atmosphere. But overall, LK Metro sits right in that sweet spot. Not as overwhelming as walking street, not as fast as Soi 6, but still active enough to carry a full night. That's why a lot of people come here once, and then keep coming back. If you want a full breakdown of LK Metro, specific spots, what's actually worth it, and how to move between them, I'll be covering that in a dedicated video. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And just around the corner, there's a place a lot of people walk past without even noticing. Soi Boomerang. If you know Pattaya well enough, you end up here. It's smaller, a bit tucked away. But once you step in, you realize it has its own thing going on. It's not loud like walking street, not fast like Soi 6. Boomerang is more controlled, more private, a different pace. I remember the first time I walked in, it didn't feel like a main street. It felt like something you discover later once you understand the city a bit more. And that's really what Boomerang is. You've got a mix of venues here, a couple of go-go spots, some more relaxed clubs, but the overall vibe is just smoother. Less noise, less pressure, more space to actually enjoy where you are. Places like Heaven Above stand out. You've got two completely different atmospheres in one venue. And then Playgirls. Honestly, one of those spots that just gets the balance right. Good energy, easy to stay longer than planned. That's the thing with Boomerang. It's not trying to pull you in from the street. You come here because you choose to. And to be honest, this is one of those areas where if you don't know Pattaya well, you probably won't even find the best spots. That kind of insider info, where to go, what works, what to avoid, that's what I share in more detail inside the VIP Telegram. Links in the description if you want to go deeper. Now let's move into a part of Pattaya that feels completely different. Soi 13/1 and 13/2. These streets sit right next to Beach Road, and that whole area kind of blends together into its own version of nightlife. Not loud, not intense, but definitely active in its own way. The moment you walk in, the pace changes. No flashing chaos, no pressure, just smaller bars, quiet spots, and a more old-school Pattaya feel. You can actually sit down here, have a drink, and enjoy the night without everything happening at once. You'll find small hostess-style bars, massage places of all kinds, restaurants and late-night spots, and overall, a much more relaxed atmosphere, more conversation, less noise. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Because it's right next to Beach Road, this area has a constant flow of people moving through it. And if you spend a bit of time here, you'll notice that you don't really have to go looking for anything. The right people find you. Those who know. This isn't the place for big nights or loud energy. It's more low-key, more subtle. And for some people, that's exactly the appeal. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of coming to Pattaya for just one night. For me, it doesn't really work. This city isn't built for quick visits. It's built for figuring it out over time. Because what you enjoy here depends a lot on your mood. Some nights you want energy. Some nights you want something slower. And sometimes you don't even know until you're already out. But if you only had one night, here's how I'd approach it. I wouldn't stay in one place. That's the biggest mistake. I'd start somewhere more relaxed. Soi Buakhao or Tree Town. Grab a drink, walk around, get a feel for the night. No pressure, no rush. From there, once things pick up, I'd move into something more compact, LK Metro. Everything close together, easy to navigate, good balance of energy without being overwhelming. And then, if I'm still going, I'd finish on Walking Street, just to see it, feel it, experience it, even if it's not where you stay the longest. That's the key. Don't try to find the best place. Move between zones and let the night build. Because Pattaya isn't one experience, it's layers. And the more you explore, the more it starts to make sense. So there you have it. Pattaya Nightlife, broken down in a way that actually helps you navigate it. This city is one of the most diverse nightlife scenes you'll find anywhere. You've got high-energy zones, fast-paced streets, relaxed social areas, and hidden corners most people never even notice. There's no single right way to do Pattaya. You just need to know where to go. To make that easier, I've pinned everything on Google Maps, all the zones clearly marked, link in the description. So you don't waste time wandering, you move with a plan. If this helped you understand Pattaya better, subscribe. I'm dropping full, detailed breakdowns of every single zone next. And if you want deeper insights, real-time updates, and more detailed guidance, that's where the VIP Lazy Nomad Telegram comes in. Links in the description. If you're coming to Pattaya, don't go in blind, go in ready. Thanks for tagging along with Lazy Nomad. Until our paths cross again in the neon-lit streets of Southeast Asia, keep exploring, but always keep it lazy. Good night, and see you on the next adventure.